Hi, good evening, everyone. Sorry, there was some technical glitch due to which it took time to start the class. Right, this CAT result is out, and I'm sure all of you must have seen your result. Okay, so how did it go? I mean, already you already knew the numbers, right? It was just about how much normalization would happen, right? How much score would increase or decrease as per the slot, right? That you would have come to know today, right? The raw scores were known on the day of response sheet itself, and it was just about the normalization thing. And some of you must have been happy that your scores increased, and especially people in slot 2, their score was decreased by quite good marks, right? For example, my overall score decreased by 4 marks, and uh, 5 marks in the DILR section itself, right? So that's what happened in the examination. So what after CAT results, right? What should be what you should be focusing on? What should be the next thing in this, right? So we will see this. All right. So there are three things. Okay, so we'll talk about three things. First is that if you had a great result, right, you have to work on VAT and PI. So I'll discuss about those things, that how to prepare for that. Okay, and the second thing is, if you did not do well in CAT, so you still have two options. One is there are certain examinations left for this season, so you can appear in those examinations and do well. Okay, of course, you must have applied, right, and will be taking these examinations soon. And the second thing is you start your preparation for CAT 2022. Okay, so we'll talk about all three possibilities in this class. Okay, so first of all, let us know that how was your CAT result? How did you do in the examination? Okay, so what was your score? Okay, so comment your section wise score and percentile in the comment section of this video. Okay, so how much you scored section wise, what was your percentile? Okay, uh, see, calls and all you will soon start getting, right? So do not worry about that. So whatever like your score according to that, you will start getting calls, and score specific calls will have a separate session for that, in which we'll discuss that, right? In what score can you get which college? Okay, and we already have had some sessions on that. Okay, so chances of getting good college, bad college, that will depend on, see, there is one more thing, that is basically your GD-VAT PI. So I'll discuss about that, because there are some people who score very well in CAT but do not do well in GD-PI. Okay. Okay, so wait for the calls. Okay, just wait for a few days. Maybe they might have started releasing calls for A and B. A and B generally release on the first day itself, but maybe by tomorrow you will get calls, start getting calls from IIMs. Okay. So this is my scorecard. I could not do well this time. I mean, only in the DIR section I did well. Right, I couldn't do well in quant section, which generally I score very well again in quant. But so this shows that, right, there are instances that where when your day could not go well. Okay, so I would call it a bad 40 minutes of bad test taking. Right. So although I scored 100 percentile in DILR, I got 100% score also. My score was 60, but it got scaled down to 55.29. Okay, still 100 percentile. But in quant, I could not do well. So overall, also my percentile went down. Okay, but still, so mixed feelings for me. Okay, on one hand, I got this achievement of distinction of getting 100% score in a section, which is rare, especially in DILR. Okay, and this on the second hand, right, so bad day in the quant section. Okay, so anyway, it does not matter for us because we are not aspirants, but still, right, we want to maintain our consistency. So now if your score is out, right, so if you are getting good scores, you know that which college, right, there are several sources that show कि किस college की कितनी percentile cut off जाती है and all. So that should not be a problem. Okay, so apply to the colleges, wait for a few days, you will start getting calls. As per वो तो सबको पता रहता है कि यार कि अगर like if your profile is good, you are getting decent score, ABC से call आएगा कि नहीं आएगा, right? If you are in 90 percentile, 90 to 95 percentile, what all colleges you can get call from, right? So calls will come on time, right? So for the time being, what you need to focus on is uh, I would say that just focus on your preparation. Okay, so there are two things, right? Either you did great in CAT, right? So you should have started. I mean, it's not that you should start now. You must have started. If you knew that on the day of response sheet, you knew that okay, I'm getting good score, right? So GD VAT PI preparation, you should have already started, and you must be halfway through it. And if you could not do well, we will discuss about that also, how to target other examinations and start for 2022. Okay, GD VAT PI, what are the things that you need to focus on? What are the things which are very important and are often asked in these common things, okay, that you should work upon? Okay, so you remember that see around they give about 10 times the calls, and like you have to be in the top one fourth or one fifth of the candidates who have qualified for the calls. Okay, so it's easy to, I mean, at this stage you will say that okay, it was easy to crack CAT than to crack the GDPI. You are just halfway through. Okay, don't get elated, because I have been in that same place, right? Getting high scores in CAT but unable to convert good B schools. Okay, so what are the things that you need to be focusing on right now? Okay, so prepare your HR questions well. So prepare all these things quite well. Take mock interviews, right? And prepare yourself well for the examination. Firstly, there are some HR questions which are very standard questions, that why do you want to do MBA, why MBA now, how will your MBA help you, right? What do you bring to the table, how does your work experience help in your MBA? Okay, how do you see yourself after 5 years, etc., etc. So these kind of questions you should be thoroughly prepared with. Secondly, prepare about yourself, right? You should know about your name. Maybe let's say your name is something which is sort of unique, right? I'm talking about mainly people who have unique name. Let's say your name is Samarth, right? They might ask you what is the meaning of Samarth. Okay, what are the synonyms of this word? Okay, so let's say you are named after some celebrity. Okay, so they might ask you about that celebrity. So any random thing could be put up to you, right? I mean, have some knowledge about your family and all, right? They might ask you, let's say if your father works in certain firm, right? They might ask you something related to that, whatever things. Okay, then know about your hometown. Okay, so they might ask you that what is your hometown famous for? So it depends, right? If you belong to some city which is famous for something, they might ask you questions related to that. Do know about the places where you have lived, okay, where you worked, or for studies, wherever you went. For example, I'll give you a very generic instance, that in one of my interviews I was asked that who is the director of your institution, right? Where did he study from? Okay, for my UG college, they asked that who is the director, and where I mean, tell about something about his where did he work, etc., etc., right? So any random stuff could be put up to you in the interviews. Okay, so make sure that you are well prepared for all such things, right? And of course about your hobbies. Okay, so they do ask a lot of questions related to your hobbies, and you should know them well, right? Because if you are mentioning something as a hobby, they expect you to know that in and out. Then next, prepare current affairs for the past 6 months. Okay, so the same current affairs that you have been preparing for other GK examinations. Okay, so national and international affairs, sports, awards, business, economy, etc. They might ask you questions related to that, and it is quite common that they ask questions from these topics. Then work on your red flags. Red flags are the negative weak points that you have in your in your CV, okay, or at this stage you call it application. Okay, so when whatever red flags you have, maybe you have had poor academics. Okay, so you should have a reason to justify why did you not do well in the academics. Okay, so you can say that okay, I was not good at that time, but now I have improved myself gradually. Okay, or you had a gap in academics or gap in work experience. You might be asked to justify those things. Okay, so those are the things that you should have answers prepared for everything. Right, so GD-PI is all about preparing yourself for all these things, because these are the things from which you get questions, right? They might ask you that why did you do well in 10th, right? Or your grades have been decreasing. You did, let's say you had 90% in 10th, but you got 82% in 12th and 65% in graduation. They will say that if you go and pursue MBA, you might score even less. Then how would you justify that? Okay, so those things. Okay, so you should have proper reasons for all these things. That is quite important, right? If there is any red flag in your application, let's say you did not have good academics, or you do not have any extracurricular achievements. Let's say your academics are excellent. If they ask you that why didn't you do any extracurricular activity, why don't you have any achievements, right? You should be well prepared for all such questions. And if you're fresher, make sure that you revisit your syllabus. They might ask you any random stuff. Okay, and especially like if generally the panelist will have one person from engineering background, and like that could be some computer science engineer or mechanical engineer or something like that. Okay, plus someone from economics background, etc., etc. Because I remember, like, I don't know how many of you are electronics and communication engineer. In one of the interviews, that was very shocking thing that you might encounter, that they asked me what is Yagi Uda antenna. Okay, so electronics and communication engineers might be knowing that you had uh, uh, one of the, so they look at your mark sheets. Okay, and they pick up any subject and might ask any random question from that subject. Okay, so for example, in one of the interviews they asked me that you had one subject in management, principles of management, what all chapters you had in that subject. Okay, so any random stuff could be asked from you related to your academics. Okay, so be prepared. At least the basics should be prepared. Even if you are not prepared, well prepared in details, that's okay, right? You can tell that okay, I could recall this thing, but at least the basics should be prepared. Okay, and this is primarily for freshers if you have less than or up to 1 year of work ex. But if you have more work ex, let's say you have 2+ years of work ex, you do not have to worry about academics. It's very rare that they might ask you questions on academics, right? In that case, you will have questions on work experience for sure. They might ask you about your company, how much revenue does it generate, right? Who are the stakeholders, founders, etc., etc. Where are the branches? How many employees does it have? Okay, they might ask you about different departments of the company, right? Anything related to the company, related to your job, what role you perform. Okay, so let's say you are a business analyst. Okay, so what tools do you use? They might ask you to code also. Okay, so for example, I was a business analyst. Okay, so they asked me SQL. Okay, they asked me what is left join. Okay, so they asked me that okay, this is the data, left apply left join on it. Okay, so all those kind of things. And when I was when I appeared for it later, so I was working with some ed tech firm, so they asked me about the future of ed tech. Okay, and some more stuff. Okay, so be prepared with your company stuff, right? Job profile, whatever work you do, skill set. If you're a programmer, they might ask you to program. If you're a digital marketer, they might ask you questions on that. If you are some financial analyst, okay, or any kind of role that you play, there might be someone in the panel who might be knowing the basics of that. So be well prepared with those things. Okay, so this was about GD-PI, and we have a program also running for it. Okay, and of course there are a lot of other mentors also who would be taking sessions on GD-PI. Okay, now let's talk about the second option, the other MBA entrance test, right? So how should you be going about those examinations? First is like you might not have done great in CAT, IFT, ZAT, and MAT. Okay, so introspect your mistakes. What were the mistakes that you committed? Right? Were you stuck in some of the questions? Were you consistently bad in one of the sections? Okay, let us say your quant is not so great, your calculation is not so great. So in the upcoming examinations, target that, okay, I will try to score well in other two sections to cover up my quant section. Right? Let's say snap, the upcoming examination is snap. So you decide, okay, I'll do well in verbal, I'll do well, very good in reasoning. So even if I do moderate in quant, I should be able to perform good overall. Then you need to brush up your concepts again, right? If you have written multiple examinations, you know ki concept chapters hain, just you are still facing issues, right? So brush up those things, revise things. Take exam specific mocks. So if you're writing snap, if you're writing going to write testnet, right? If you're going to appear for CMAT or any examinations, right? So please take exam specific mocks, that will help you prepare well. Go through past year papers without saying, okay, so that you get to understand that how it is different from the examinations that have already taken place. Okay, so snap registrations were closed long back, you cannot register for it now. Okay, so go through those papers and see that how it is different from the examinations that you have already written. One important thing is brush up your GK grammar, because GK is asked in some of the examinations like CMAT, TestNet, etc. So you have to work on that. Grammar, now in CAT you did not have much of grammar, okay, but in the coming examinations you will encounter questions that ask questions on grammar. So please brush up those concepts, right? Go through the rules, etc. And in non-CAT reasoning, there are certain topics, like I was having a session today in the afternoon. Okay, so I saw that I was telling that there are certain topics like clocks, calendars, syllogisms, etc., which were not asked in CAT and are asked in other examinations. So go through those concepts as well. Okay, so now let's talk about like if you are if you are starting fresh for CAT 2022, or if you are starting again for like if you feel that okay, you are done with the examinations of this season, you could not do well. Okay, so what you should be doing now? Okay, so what should be the course of action for the next 10-11 months or one complete year? Okay, that response sheet is out. Answer keys should be out very soon. So for the first 2 months, right now, if you're now this is for those who are restarting or are fresh starters. For the first 2 months, January to February, we would say that develop reading habit in VARC, because VARC is in CAT especially, it is all about reading abilities, right? It does not test you on grammar, it does not test you on vocab, it tests you on your reading habits. Okay, so develop a reading habit. Start reading with things that you like. Maybe you like to read about sports, right? Maybe you like to read about scientific research. Maybe you like to read about economics, business. So start with those things, then get into deeper topics like philosophy, okay, or like history, etc., etc. Okay, then for quant, right, you try to start from NCERT books, right? You, whether you agree or not, if you see the concepts that are tested are from class 6 to 10th, you do not get higher mathematics concepts, right? Very rare, right? You will get very few questions from functions, or I would say that PNC, you hardly get questions, right? People focus a lot, they think कि यार permutation combinations बहुत अच्छे से कर लेते हैं, right? It's okay if you are a non-engineer, you did not have mathematics beyond 10th, it's perfectly fine, you can score very well without even knowing a couple of topics. Okay, so start from basics, start with NCERT books. Okay, LRDI, you should have some reasoning acumen, right? You should solve puzzles. Okay, You can search for like interview puzzles, go through past year papers. Okay, start practicing from those things. There are some puzzle books like George Summers, Shakuntala Devi, right? So try those puzzles. Then once you have worked on your basics, okay, once you have worked on your basics, then what you need to do is you need to build the concepts. Okay, in VARC, like you first of all you develop reading habits, then you start solving RCs from past papers. Okay, and then cover para jumbles, summary based questions, para completions. So these mainly go through the past papers. Past papers will be the best source to see these questions. Okay, and and then we have is you have in quant, right? Start with arithmetic because arithmetic is something which is very basic. Okay, arithmetic plus you can do number system or geometry. Okay, or like even if you do half of geometry, that should be a number system plus geometry I would recommend. Or if you like if you are an engineer, you can do algebra also, number system plus algebra, because number system is something that will help you in number based logical DI also, right? Number based DI. And arithmetic is something which is basic, and it does not require too many concepts, and it's a major chunk of all examinations, right? Whether it is CAT, NMAT, SNAP, in all examinations, most of the questions are from arithmetic. Okay. NRDI go through all types of sets, different kinds of sets. Okay, so games and tournaments. Okay, you have binary logic. Okay, table based DI, chart based DI. Okay, different kind of charts, bar graph, line graph, pie chart. So go through different types and understand that what spatial strategy you need for different solving different kinds of questions. Okay, and you should also start writing mocks by end of, like I would say that starting from around May to June, you start writing mocks, right? At least take one mock, 1 or 2 mocks per month. That should suffice at that stage. Then July to September, like you need to practice a lot. You have covered your basics, right? You have covered the concepts, okay, and try to take sectional test, okay, and in quant finish the syllabus, because quant is the biggest section, right? When it comes to the number of topics that you have to study, it is the biggest section. So try to cover the remaining concepts in that part, right? So like as I said, that arithmetic, number system, geometry was done, algebra plus modern maths, okay, that you cover during this phase, and you will be done with all quant with in depth. Okay, so you will be done with quant. Okay. So LRDI also start solving a lot of sets from past papers. Okay, and I'll also show that what all resources that you can use. Okay, and in the last 2 months, right, once you are done with a lot of practice, it is about slogging, right? You have to work day in and day out, right? Then run the scat. I mean, that should be in your mind that you have to take a lot of mocks, right? So every 2 days you take mocks. Be very thorough, do very thorough analysis, because you have already covered the syllabus. You know, okay, these are the things that are asked. I have covered all the syllabus. I will try to revise, right? And see to your mistakes. What are the mistakes that you are committing? Try to improve them in every coming mock. Let us say you do not have the ability to pick the right sets. Okay, so analyze the mocks and see that what can you do with the mocks. Okay, so that way try to improve yourself. Take previous year papers also, so that you understand that where do you stand at the point. Okay, so suppose see, like as I said, that we know the score versus percentile for CAT 2021. Next year if you write the examination, you know, okay, if I get this score, I would have been at this percentile. Take paper of CAT 2020, you know that okay, I would be at this percentile. Okay, so make sure that you and do this activity as well. Now you must be wondering that where will you get these many questions? Okay, so CAT, if you talk about, there are a lot of papers available, right? 90s to 2008, and then like you have from 2017 17 to 20 17 to 21, right? I would say that these are old papers also. These might have some irrelevant questions also. I would recommend 2017 to 21 itself. You had two slots, so 6 plus 6, 12 papers in the latest pattern, right? Latest kind of questions that you get, right? So 12 papers, actual 12 papers, right? You get the latest kind of, in these others like up to 2008, there might be some questions which are no longer asked. So pick the relevant questions, right? Relevant from past papers, and recent ones you will get the most suitable CAT pattern. Okay, then that past year papers are available. Okay, so take those tests, right? See the type of questions that are asked. RCs, right? You are not getting RCs, do that RCs. Okay, a lot of I mean you will find joy in doing those. Okay, then IFT papers, you have a lot of IFT papers available. Okay, so you can attempt those questions. Then there used to be examination called JMET, right, which was for IITs. Now IITs take admission through CAT, so those papers are also available. See, content is never an issue, right? So you never feel that okay, I do not have content to prepare from. There are a lot of sources to prepare from. There are a lot of free sources also, right? There are, like, if in our YouTube channel itself, you see that we have classes regularly. Okay, on our BYJU'S exam prep app also we take sessions. So content is never the problem, it is the intent that you should have. Okay, so a lot of content is available online, and then you have mock test, right? Whichever course you enroll for, you will get mock test. So take those mocks, take sectional test, past year papers. Enough of material is there, right? It is just about putting efforts, right? Trying to improve concepts and getting better day by day. So this is what your course of action should be, right? So I discussed about three things, right? So first is, if you have done good, right? If you have done good, then focus on GD-VAT PI. And I told you the pointers, what are the things that you need to focus on, right? What are the things you need to prepare? HR answers, personal questions, okay, current affairs. If you are fresher, related to your academics. If you are a working personality, right, related to your job, company, etc. If you had bad, right, so you have two options, right? So one is other MBA entrance test. Focus on all those. These are the upcoming tests. Focus on those and try to do well if you want to get admission this year itself. Okay, and if or you want to start your preparation. Let us say, like, bad also two category, right? Let's say you did okay-ish, right? जिसके 60-70 percentile आई, ठीक है, या 80 percentile भी आई, you are not satisfied, right? But you can target OMETs, right? Let's say you have 70 से 80 percentile जिसकी आई है, they could still target कि अच्छा हाँ भी अदर बाकी जो टेस्ट बचे उनमें अच्छा करके good colleges achieve कर सकते हैं. If you did not do well, right? Maybe you started late. Okay, so in that case, please restart your preparation, right? And you have enough time. And if you start early, you always have an advantage. And there are people who start late, and there could be some other reasons also, right, which you could not prepare, or any other reason. So start now itself and be consistent with your preparation. Okay, so I'll take up some doubts now, because a lot of you were not listening to me, right? You were just focusing on which calls and all you will get, right? So I'll talk about the doubts about this thing, right? So Vaibhav is saying that 98.35 percentile. Okay, do I have fair chance? You have fair chance, a very good chance in old IIMs, right? Because since you are a non-engineer, and a non-engineer, if he gets above 98, that's a very, very good chance. Okay, so your academics also look decent. So all the best. Okay, so Rohan, result is out, so you can check the percentile, right? So percentile उसमें आया होगा. Okay, and what else you have? Also, only this person. Nikhil is saying that sectionals. What should I target, right? So if you are engineer, right? Engineer means that old IIMs look difficult for you, right? And if you are a non-engineer, then you stand a very good chance for uh, I mean, for old IIMs. Otherwise, if you are engineer, then I would say that NITI is the best option that you have. MDI, okay, you can go for FMS as well. Okay, provided your academics look okayish, right? You can get a chance there if you do well in GD VAT PI, right? So 95.1. So please do mention about engineer, non-engineer also, because see, non-engineer have great advantage. Okay, engineers have, I have a lot of disadvantage, right? I have scored 99.9 plus. I have not got calls from A and B. Okay, because I did not have very good academics. Okay, so that's why engineers और non-engineers पे बहुत difference पड़ जाता है. Okay, Nilotpal says 98.44, 90, great academics. I am ILK. Uh, uh, L से tough है, right? So L it's tough, right? I you will get. K also some chances you have. Okay, K, but your score percentile is, if it were around 99 you would have got, but I you will get for sure. Okay, and other IMs. Mm, Adil, non-engineer fresher. Adil, you have good chance from old IIMs, right? If you have good profile also, right? You should like do well in GD VAT PI and see that. So see, while filling the forms, you must have already filled the IIMs, right? Which are like IIMs that you wanted to apply for. Okay, so you will start getting calls soon. So don't wait for the calls. Start your preparation for GD VAT PI, which you already must have started. Okay. Ayush Bhargav 95.1. Uh, uh, it will be difficult for you to get into the IIMs. I mean, even the old IIMs out of picture. The new IIMs also tough chance. Okay, you can target colleges like IITs you can target, and then IITs also upper ones are gone, right? That is the dilemma, right? If you are in the 90-95 range, 90-95 percentile, you uh, that's a tough thing. Okay, so you can target colleges like IMI Delhi, IMT Ghaziabad, okay, and some old IITs like Roorkee and all, other IITs apart from IIT Madras you can target. Okay, NITI also is out of picture for you. FMS possible 95.94, 95, 91 non-engineer. Yes, you have possibility for FMS, right? So all the best for that. PWD 55 percentile non-engineer, you will get only the baby IIMs, not the new ones. Okay. Ayush, then we have Ladil. Okay, so a lot of. So Saurav, your chances stand on your academics also. Shailesh 92.2. So you might get Shailesh, you might get some new IIMs at this score. Okay. Sahishnu says that 96.14 non-engineer. Uh, non-engineer 93, 95, 80. So that is your section-wise percentile or what? That is your sectional percentile or academics, right? So please do mention that also, because academics also play a role. Okay, non-engineer general 76.48 is like you might get tier 2 colleges at that. Okay, not into tier 1. MDI, IIT is possible at 99.12, Saurav. IIT is possible. MDI is also quite possible. Blackie, tough, right? Academics, I don't know academics, but Blackie is tough. Maybe uh, Blackie will be tough, right? Unless you're great academics, you might get from Indore, but others are tough to say. Yes, Sankey, you can expect IITs. Sort of OBC 94. Yes, so you will get a call, but you have to do well in the GD-VAT process to crack FMS. So Rahul Singh, your academics will also matter, right? You might get call from NITI. Okay, that is a good option that you have. 88.2. See, category also. See, there are other things also, right? There are category, your engineer, non-engineer, that also plays a great role. Okay. Uh, so Ayush, again, academics will play a role, right? If you 92.77, if you are non-engineer, so definitely you will get calls from the new IIMs, but old IIMs, it will depend on your academics. So Abhik, yes, you can connect with me on Telegram, right? I have a my you can connect with me on Telegram. Okay, so Aptiman100 is my Telegram ID, right? You can connect with me on that. So this cutoff and all, right, we'll have articles also, because like it's difficult to answer each and every query, right? So yes, you should do some research on that. Okay, and we'll have articles published, and wherein we'll talk about different possibility scenarios, like for engineers, non-engineers, right? Do some research about that. Okay, so do some research on those colleges, etc., score versus that, so you will get some idea that where do you stand. Okay, so that way I would just suggest that that would be a better one, because like it is difficult to answer each and everyone's query right now. Okay, and we'll have some separate sessions for that as well. Okay, so just I mean wait for the calls, right? For IIMs you should wait for the calls, and for others, like if you have applied, you will get calls. Okay, so do not worry about कि which calls to expect. ठीक है, अगर तुमने अप्लाई किया हुआ है colleges में से, and if your score is in that range, so you will get the calls. Just focus on this thing now. So there are some mistakes that people commit. ठीक है, लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल एग्जाम से पहले दे आर वरीड कि कितनी कट ऑफ जाएगी, राइट? अरे भाई एग्जाम तो होने दो. सिमिलरली, इफ यू हैव गॉट द रिजल्ट, if your score will fall in that range, right, you will get the calls, right? But do not wait for the calls. Start this thing. You must have already started, right? Go go deeper into your preparation, right? And wish you all the best. Okay, so do some research on that. Okay, and for the ones who are starting their preparation, these are mentors at BYJU'S exam prep, and they all have excelled in CAT this time, right? So Saral sir got 99.99 percentile in quant, right, which he always gets, right? He's been consistently scoring 99.9 plus in quant, right? Last year also he had 99.99. This also year also, right? And Vikas sir also got 99. 8 in quant. Okay, then Gaurav sir got 99.93 in quant. Okay, then others also, other in verbal also we had faculties getting 99. Close to Sarunjam sir got 99.3 percentile in verbal ability. Right, so all these are the mentors who score well in the exams also, and they can guide you well, right? That how to prepare for these examinations. Okay, so I hope you found this session useful, that what to prepare and how to prepare. Okay, so if you have had good time, right, if you scored decent, do not worry about the calls, focus on GDPI right now, right? I told you that what are the things that you need to prepare. If other examinations are pending, what are the things that you need to focus on right now? And if you are starting fresh, then what should be your strategy for the next 1 year? Okay. All right, so I hope you found this video useful, and please don't forget to like the session. Okay, and do follow us on our social media platforms. So thanks for watching it. Have a great night. Goodbye.